Welcome back, everybody, to IEM Shenzhen. It's the kickoff event for IEM Season 9, and we're currently underway with our Hearthstone event, the first of its kind. We swapped out a couple people on the couches. This time, I'm joined by StrifeCrow, the man of the hour, and Masan, the person who's making his first offline appearance, at least in this kind of scale. What's up, guys?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm really happy.
You're first place in your group.
Really happy I went through the group. I mean, I thought that, it could be hard because, best of 3, anything can happen, so.
Right. And the fact that there is bans that helps reduce a little bit of that RNG and you have some strategic choice. But at the same time, best of 3s, sometimes even the best players can lose. Yeah,
and also a lot of the players here were unknown for me, so it's like.
Right, what are they playing? What are they good
Exactly, and they could be however good. Like, I don't know if they're super good or, just okay, so it's like, yeah.
Sure. After playing a couple of guys, what do you feel like is the general playing skill level? Do you feel like the Asian players are on par? Is it as if you're playing the normal EU NA legends? What do you feel?
I'd say I think it's a little bit weaker so far.
Okay.
I think the second player played is a stronger player than the first player. So
the XiaoSoul guy.
XiaoSoul, okay. Yeah.
Cool. Misan, what's up, man? Welcome to China.
Thanks. I'm doing okay. Sorry.
Wow. All right.
Oh my God.
We can try that again. All right. Masan, welcome to China. What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing good myself. The adjustment to the time zone hasn't been a problem whatsoever. I'm enjoying the games. I've been really hyped up with StrifeCrow going in first place in Group A. You have a pretty tough group because you have Nimsh in there as well as, it says China 3. And that's not his name. It's the 3rd seed from China, as well as Giano. I don't know how much you know about these guys in your group.
I don't know much about those guys, but Nimsh, I think I know.
Right,
enough,
maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
You play a lot on the Asian server. How much do you know about these two guys, XiaoSoul as well as WaningMoon? Do you know any about them?
I actually don't know much about them either, despite me playing Asian server. I just played server. I don't recognize their names personally, so.
Yeah, well, I was talking to WaningMoon earlier, and he said that he doesn't even play on the Chinese servers. He only plays on North America, and apparently he's high legend right now in North America.
Under the name WaningMoon?
Yeah, no, with that name. I've actually played him a lot on NA. Cool. He's been high legend even before, so right now he's like top 20 legend, and I think he was pretty high before too, so we'll have to see. He's definitely a strong player.
He's a former StarCraft 2 pro too for Philippines as well, so he's a guy that knows the high-level competition, so it seems like whatever game he's at, just like you, StrifeCrow, you were a top StarCraft player.
I didn't play him in this tournament, but I think I heard that his decks are a little bit weird. Like, he played some kind of mid-range warrior.
Yeah, with like Argent Commanders and Yetis.
I guess it doesn't matter.
That won't matter because our first is Druid versus the Shaman. To start things off. Moon's on Shaman and XiaoSoul is on Druid.
Okay. So we do see a Ooze on the Shaman. It's interesting to see whether he's going to keep it or not because the battle cry will never work against Druid, but...
So it's like a 2-drop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, you in a way, like, you might as well just play it as a 2-drop since, like, the strongest time you can get a Ooze against Druid is on turn 2, right?
Right. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally.
It doesn't get any better than that. But he's hoping maybe he'll just never draw it. So, that's a pretty viable strategy as well.
Yeah, interesting. Because, again, Moon was playing a little bit different versions of decks. His Warrior deck already playing those very different cards. And now he's, again, the Lava Burst, the Ooze, these kind of techie cards that gives him a different edge. Let's see what more he develops.
Well, we'll see. But this matchup is basically all about who gets board control early.
Yes.
It's basically the Shaman spamming out totems and the Druid trying to stop it. If Druid can, say, get a really strong start early, like an early Harvest Golem, or something to kill the totems as they spawn, Druid usually wins. Otherwise, Shaman usually wins, is my experience. Like, this matchup, there's not very many comebacks. It's like, if you lose control early, it's just like, it's hard to come back for either player.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we'll Feral Spirits, not bad. Top decking on turn 3. You play Shaman extensively, Masan, especially on your stream. Do you agree with what StrifeCrow says? Do you have any other insight on the matchup?
I agree with that. It's really hard to come back as a Druid if you lose the war control. But as a Shaman, like, there are few comeback mechanisms early on, not beyond turn 7 after ancient lower turn.
All right, using the Innervate to push out this Yeti.
Yeah, that's good. Right now, Shaman only has 2 mana, so you're pretty much expecting just a hero power. It turns out that he actually has a coin and 2 lightning bolts, so he actually has a lot more plays. But that was definitely right, taking out the 2/3 and playing a Yeti.
Yeah, you don't want to leave, again, just like you said, you don't want to leave out the board, especially putting out Feral Spirits, things like Flame Tongues, things get out of control, especially with the building count of totems.
Okay, so this turn is a really big decision for the Shaman because, like, on one hand, he really wants to kill his creature, and I'm sure he's going to kill it, but what's kind of annoying is that he has a coin, and next turn he's going to be on 5. So if he had the coin, he could coin out on 5 and 6, like double Fire Elemental. That's a crazy mana curve. But unfortunately, with the Yeti here, it's just too much pressure. Like, he has to kill a Yeti, I think. So he's not going to be able to do that.
Is it too optimistic to anticipate him trading into it and then therefore using the Fire Elemental Battle Cry to eliminate the Yeti that way?
Okay, so make a totem, attack into it. I'd say at that point you don't even need to attack into it.
Yeah, you just
I don't know.
hit face with it.
Actually, if there's a Druid of Claw comes out, that wouldn't work. I guess that's a really advanced move. I don't know if he's going to do something like that. Okay, so he really wants to do like that double Fire Elemental curve. He didn't even Lightning Bolt hit or point out the Hex or anything.
See if it pays off. The Black Knight.
Ooh.
And I think in the end, that's what it's going to try to push out, the Fire Elemental. So it does end up working here for Waning Moon. Doomhammer as well. And we do know that XiaoSoul does play cards like Harrison Jones in his decks as well, so we'll see if he ends up drawing and top decking in that situation.
That'll be hilarious. Especially since it's down to 4 cards.
Sure.
Have 10 cards afterward.
Yeah, so Black Knight in this matchup, usually you might get a Wolf, but the big thing you get is Alec here. It's kind of weird because a lot of times when they play Alec here, they're already killing you that turn. So, you know, it's kind of weird to save Black Knight for it specifically, but otherwise Black Knight's kind of weak. There's not that many other things to get. I don't expect he's going to Black Knight.
You can try to bait out the Defensive Argus sometimes, but most of the time when you play Defensive Argus, they already killed something.
Right, they're able to kind of trade up immediately, so it's not that much value.
I think he has a couple of options, basically. One is, like, if he, say, Keeper and Hero
Board
Power
clear.
trade off everything, then end up with a Keeper. I'd say another option is for him to do something like this. This will be in charge mode if he plays it. He either charges this or Argent Commander. I actually think it's a little bit better to charge Argent Commander, and you would just charge his face at this point. Because I think you'd rather keep a 4/2 with Divine Shield than a 4/4. I mean, there's no way he's playing taunt mode because it's a 6/5 already, right? So it's just going to kill it.
That's true. So I think in that respect, putting out the Argent Commander, it's just more mana efficient as well.
I really hate playing the Argent Commander against a Shaman charge.
Okay, so
when
he's
it's not
just
killing anything.
Yeah, so he'd rather have a 4/4 than a 4/2 at Divine Shield.
Yep.
I don't know if that's right, but you know, also the bear can do some other things later on as well. So
So there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the other Fire Elemental. There's no way.
No.
A lot of this depends on whether he can roll a Spell Power Totem. That'd be
Right,
crazy.
kill off the Druid of the Claw pretty easily.
There's a pretty safe move, which is just a Mana Tide Lava Burst, I'd say, maybe, and just clear everything, keep the Mana Tide.
Really
you can even
like
do
that
a
move,
Hex Mana. You can Hex Mana Tide do the same thing, except you'd leave up, you know, one of the sheep's frogs.
Or some kind of beast, it doesn't matter. I think that's interesting, but he chooses to go for the regular totem and he doesn't get it.
Does not get the Spell Power to one-shot the 4/4, unfortunately. So now it's going to be hard to use his mana, I think.
Might have to opt for Hex then.
Yeah. So if he Hex...
Ooh, Hex before
I think he should
attacks.
definitely attack first.
Hex before attack?
I guess he's going to just attack...
Oh, no! Aw.
Mistakes were made.
I wonder if he's going to Lightning Bolt this... Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. WaningMoon realizes the gravity of his mistake. And assuming his opponent has something like Swipe to just clear the board or something and put pressure back.
Yeah.
That could have been pretty bad.
The good thing is the Druid player has no way to really leverage it, so it's almost the same thing.
Yeah,
in fact, it actually turned out better
Wow,
for him.
yeah, he
It
snuck
actually
in.
turned out better for him because he actually killed the sheep as well, frog.
Yeah.
So it was just lucky.
Yeah, so WaningMoon's mistake didn't actually punish him. And now he draws an Azure Drake. Pretty nice. Gets that spell power immediately.
Yep. so Zero Drake can clean up the board with a Lightning Bolt.
And Shaman's sitting on such a good card count too. You know, it's sometimes really easy to get stuck with a bunch of removal options, and you have to spend it all, and you're stuck on low cards.
He even has a mana tide totem if he ever runs low.
Right.
So.
Another spell power. Join the party.
WaningMoon's hand is pretty insane. Like this is like the exact kind of cards you want a Shaman. Like, you know, all like the really strong cards.
Sure,
basically.
sure.
He has basically like enough situational cards to kind of deal with everything and still have like the proactive drops, you know, every turn. So a lot of times like Shaman, because you know all your cards are split into one of those categories. It really sucks if you end up with all one or all one or the other. But you know this hand is just like perfect, like really good.
I think
balance.
so. They just been answering each other, but it really matters about who has the final answer before they can't clear the board and develop something. At this stage, if it's like Ancient of Lore, then Shaman feels like in a pretty good position because you can answer and then start building your board again, I think.
Yeah, both of these decks are fairly bursty. With Shaman being a Doomhammer deck, I'm sure he has Rock Butter as well. You know, he can easily do 20 damage a turn. Druid is the same way with Force Nature Savage Roar. So if anyone even gets like a slight tempo advantage, they can just ride that to victory. It's interesting if he Lightning Bolts it to hit it to get him 5 damage. I guess not.
I guess if you have a Thalnos and and maybe a spell power roll, it could be so much utility. Oh, but you do have Lava Burst though to kind of like follow that up. So maybe using it wouldn't have been so bad, unless he has something like a potential creature that he doesn't want to like overload onto, like an Alec here or something.
But yeah, in this situation, like this is like the worst for Druid basically because like they're just so far ahead on board. You know, with the whole Fire Elemental and the weapon. The weapon is not a small thing. That's like a really strong weapon, 2/6 with Wind Fury. So it's hard to even think about what you do as Druid from this position.
Oh, that's so painful. How do you slow down the Shaman?
Yeah.
Do you try and set him up for potential combo draw or something at that point, or?
Do you know if he runs a 1 or 2 Force of Nature in this deck?
We don't know. We've seen him only run 1 combo. We haven't seen him ever pick up 2 pieces of anything. So.
It seems like he has 1 of each.
Yeah.
So he's basically really trying to save the Force of Nature for the Savage.
Oh, man. All right. So.
I mean, it's okay. He's out a lot of life, so he can lose some for that. But
yeah.
The issue is there's still a 2/6 weapon, and you have a free turn of Shaman this turn, drop whatever. So you're still gaining board control.
And he's running out of options to clear the board next.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
very powerful.
That's gonna get Black Knight.
It will, and Black Knight does get value.
Yeah.
Oh! He drew before he was able to end the turn and could have played the Argent Squire as well. Oh man, be very careful with your turns like that.
No, the Argent Squire draws at the end of the turn for the totem.
That is a total brain fart. My bad.
I thought you were joking about the coin mining giant thing.
No. So it was okay. So I was listening to Shrevko's point, and then I saw him about to click an emote, and I thought he was going to say that was a mistake, and I saw the Argent Squire. I didn't put 2 and 2 that it was just drawn.
Okay.
I thought he had the Argent Squire from the beginning. So that's a simple mistake.
Yeah.
And
If only he had another move that didn't involve him playing a Taunter, that would have been really good. Probably just Argus these 2 creatures ago. I mean, there's no more Black Knight anymore, so with the Mana Tide being 0/3 silence, it's like useless. At least this way, you start activating it, turns into 1/4, pretty strong now.
Gives it something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Shaman's still really far ahead here. The combo.
Might change things here.
Okay. But still, you know, honestly, I don't even think like combo's that strong in this matchup. You don't really, you can't really push in that much damage Druid against Shaman until you get board control. And if you're using the combo to clear, like it's still pretty strong as an AoE board clear, but you know that's not ultimately what you want. Oh, that's so weak to Hex.
I think
that's just big Hex bait.
Yeah, but I guess this is weak to Lightning Storm, so you know.
That's true. And at this point, I feel like he wants to. Like, how is Drew supposed to fight back from the board here without using their combo?
Well, at least Druid have a stronger board at the end of his turn than for the first time.
I think WaningMoon might have very close to lethal, if not this turn, then the turn after. That doesn't look like a lot of damage, but it actually is with the Flame Tongue Totem and how the weapon attacks twice. Let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in 2 turns, he can kill.
Yeah. Use a surprise Flame Tongue as well.
But I think WaningMoon has to clear the board, so unfortunately he can't just go for the face.
No, but he can also position himself with these Arts and Squires to do really good stuff with the
yeah.
Divine Shields and the Flame Tongues the following turn.
For sure. He's definitely going to want to drop the Flame Tongue this turn to start
the trades.
Start the trades somehow.
Now, would you save the Thalnos, or would you just use the Thalnos up here?
I think I'd use the Thalnos somehow. It's just weird because, you know, the Thalnos with the Flame Tongue, it's really hard to see like a good way to do this.
Ooh.
Okay, so he's getting some use out of shock.
Sure.
I think that's good.
See what you draw.
In this situation.
Okay.
Oh, wow, he's saving the Thalnos.
Okay.
That's actually pretty smart.
I think he wants as many taunts as possible too.
Because the healing tome heals back the thing.
He gets back some value from that. Do you like the fact that he put on the Squires on the corners? So that way it gets closer and closer to the Divine Shields?
The Squire arts on the corners are actually smart here. The thing about Squire is basically with this many minions in the Flame Tongue totem, you want to propagate. You know, so if you put a Squire right next to it, you're not going to propagate because after you hit with the Squire, it's still going to stay there.
Still has a shield.
Yeah, exactly. So you won't get to trade off everything.
There you go.
Okay, so he actually broke up his combo because the Savager here was almost useless. You know, it wasn't going to kill anything else, pretty much.
Yeah, but again, he spends his entire turn having to clear. But Shaman's also kind of low on cards now.
Yeah, he can actually get grinded out. Like he just with only one Flame Tongue totem. Now that he drew Lightning Storm, you know, it's not a lot of things to do, but with his life, I mean, with the Druid's life being so low, I mean, I think he should still be okay, I guess.
Yeah, he has to hope his opponent doesn't draw something like Rockbiter.
There
but he
is
does
a
have double
double
taunt.
Sungeon here. Oh, and an Innervate. I guess the Innervate is useless.
I guess you want to innovate the hero power out, I guess. Or the Mark of the Wild.
You could Savage Roar and kill Plankton Totem.
Oh, okay. This is, I think he has to Savage Roar because with this many minions out, that Flame Tongue Tome, that Flame Tongue Tome's threatening like 10 damage on his taunters.
Minimum
so,
6.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess he can't do anything else. Unless he was willing to innervate out the Mark of the Wild. He probably won't.
Nah.
I think he's trying to wonder what he can potentially die to on the following turn. Maybe if his opponent picks up like something, Rockbite or something, but can't.
Oh.
Speaking of which.
Is that lethal?
Is that lethal?
If he rolls a Spell Power
Storm.
Totem,
rolls a Spell Power
and he
totem.
rolls highs for trades Rockbite. Actually, you can roll low.
No.
Whoa,
It's
wait.
lethal. It's lethal.
He's lethal
oh,
now.
wait. He has to get lucky, I think.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think
Because it's
it doesn't
11,
matter.
not 10. So he needs to get one hit in from a creature, too.
Ah, okay, he rolls high.
Okay, I guess even if he
It doesn't
got
matter.
unlucky-
Roll low or high, it doesn't matter.
He just needs to get one hit in.
So the Rockbiter was exactly what he needed, and WaningMoon, despite having kind of a little bit of a fumble early on, ends up winning the game.
Yeah.
Okay, and now XiaoSoul will have to rely on his handlock, which I don't know about handlock versus Shaman. What do you guys
it's
think?
Not good. I mean, some handlocks are better than others, I'd say. Basically, like if the more like creatures you have as handlock, the better you are against Shaman. If you're handlock that relies very heavily on the Leroy Powerwhelming Faces combo, it's really bad against Shaman because this is like a matchup where handlock almost never gets in any early damage, so you can't finish somebody with the combo.
Well, you're talking about bursting. He has two options for burst.
This is an extremely heavy burst handlock.
Yeah. Well, he mulligans for a 4-drop, but again, Twilight Drakes are just one of the scariest cards to throw out against Shaman, solely because of one card.
Wow, it's really interesting to see that Shaman mulliganed
Manatide Totem.
That's like almost like the best card in this matchup, because handlock can't do anything early. Like a lot of times they're just tapping.
Right.
And
they have to like spend a Soulfire in order to kill it.
It's just so brutal.
And no one plays like Shadow Bolt as often anymore to just kind of directly answer it if they were on coin. So I think it's kind of safe to keep the Manatide.
A lot of times it does get owled, which is kind of their best response, but.
In this scenario, would you totem or would you Argent Squire? Because I always totem in this.
I think I would totem here. Yeah. Thing is, what you can do is totem here, totem and Squire next turn, and then Argus probably, which sounds good.
Yeah, and that way you're not dropping a mana as well. That way, you drop 2 mana this turn if you're assuming you're just toteming next turn. So in that case, you're playing a little bit more curve efficient as well.
But burst
never mind.
is-
He has Feral Spirits. I didn't see.
I mean, it's okay, but the thing is, I don't know if you really want a Feral Spirit, because then you can't play the Argus on 4. I mean, if you already do use the Squire, you should do this, but you know, if you go Totem, and then you can play the other moves. So
it makes sense.
yeah. Basically, this is like a matchup where, like, Warlock can't really get in any damage. You know, like you throw in a Mountain Giant, gets Hex. You throw down Twilight Drake, it gets Earthshock. So it's really hard to get them down to like around 20 before you can Leroy them.
Yeah, and that's assuming they don't have like really small things to annoy you, like the taunt totems and stuff to slow you down.
exactly.
You know, not a lot of responses and stuff, because usually against the kind of handlock, you also want like the early Flame Tongue if you have the Feral Spirits in trade. So he's kind of playing on hopes that his opponent doesn't have a really good drop the following turn.
Yeah, this is a pretty sick turn because that thing is threatening Shadow Flame like huge. Like if you say you make a Totem Group for face, you're really uncomfortable because you know it's threatening a Shadow Flame, but you don't have any real ways to remove it easily either. Like you can Rock Bite or your 2/3 go for it, but then you kind of lose your board anyways in a way. So and he doesn't even have to use his Shadow Flame. So actually, I think it's actually better to make a Totem because Shadow Flame doesn't kill the 1/1. So basically, yeah, I can't see that being that great.
Yeah, I think you force Shaman to have it, or force Warlock to have
and
it.
Now you trade off your Rock Biter and
your
your creature.
Exactly. So
but
if
now
you
he
pick
doesn't
up Flame
need
Tongue,
a Shadow Flame; just drops a creature. So
he needs to pick up an Earthshock.
Earthshock.
Nah.
Nope. Oh, this is weird. I don't think you usually want early Doomhammer against Warlock because it's hard to just get him low immediately. You usually want to save it for a big burst. If you get him low immediately, you can lose him.
But he does have the Rock Biter in hand, and that's
it's hard to do that much here. There's not many good moves he has. The issue is if he Rock Biter, he's not going to be able to fire on the next
That is true. Or you mean Doomhammer, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he Doomhammer, he's not going to be able to fire on the
But his turn's so clunky because either way, he's dropping something then. Like, if you Defender of Argus, he's missing a mana, and that's 3 turns of missing 1 mana. Totem prevents everything else. It's not pretty here for WaningMoon.
I think he definitely wants to save the Doomhammer Rock Biter combo. If he Doomhammers here, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, gets him to 17. And then the Rock Biter still wouldn't be a kill next turn, so...
Yeah.
And then you can just lose to Molten Giants. This is okay, like, taunting up... I mean, Argusing a Squire is always really strong. Like, the 2/2 Divine Shield is just so annoying. Oh, it looks like Shadow Flame, maybe? Or Argus?
Yeah?
Oh.
Yeah. Either one
Argus.
is fine.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty intimidating. He knows his opponent doesn't have the Earthshock. He would have used it. Maybe even potentially some kind of removal, but now the Drake's going to pick up value.
Yeah. He gets Argus 2 targets, and one of the targets being the Watcher is really good. Activate your Watcher here.
Do you think the obvious play of dropping a Fire Elemental and then trying to kill off the Drake here?
I think if you drop Fire Elemental, you can kill the Drake, so you'd have a 6/5 and a 2/2 against that board. The thing is, like, almost always when they have 3 creatures, you do Lightning Storm in this matchup. Like, they rarely get more than 3, so it's like one of the best times for the Lightning Storm.
His follow-up after that, though.
Yeah.
Especially if he rolls low, it's going to be so bad. I don't know if that's
too much on luck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we know in response that the handlock has that Shadow Flame, and even the Siphon Soul directly back on it.
Yeah. So this is probably going to just be a Siphon here. It's hard to remove it any other way. I mean, he's obviously not going to Shadow Flame.
And there's not many bigger targets in Shaman that they have. Like, maybe an Alec here is the only thing better worth Siphon Souling. Whoa, too little, too late.
It's actually pretty strong.
I think it's, you were saying that the Earthshock still is good to get past the taunts to potentially burst finish.
Exactly.
Not against the Watcher, though.
Not yet. Maybe there's a place if that's the finishing move, but that's exactly why you don't want to silence the Watcher.
Yeah, so you just had to play his creatures, unfortunately.
See what the Warlock picks up, because he does have big damage.
Oh, Shenzhen as well.
Mm.
It's an interesting card when you see Leroy and the Arcane Golem, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Speaking of which,
cameo.
Okay, it's the 2 Moltens here already.
it's gonna be really scary later on.
Yeah.
That's assuming his opponent's able to drag him down low, though, because he's got 2 big taunt walls in his way. And again, a lightning bolt. How's that going to be able to squeeze in everything?
I would just storm here after Totem.
Ah,
Oh, that's good.
well, that changes a few things.
There's no easy way. Even if you get lucky, I don't think the Lightning Storm will actually do that much.
It's just a full board clear if you want to do everything, but
You can probably Lightning Storm and trade off the Wolf for the Shenzhen. At some point, I think that Moon should really develop his Doomhammer, because it just seems like he needs to play the Doomhammer.
Get the overload out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And be able to even like whittle down your opponent slowly, and then get it within
or even
burst
just
range.
hitting some of these taunters. Like, you're at 30 life. I think you need to consider using your life as a resource at this point.
Yeah, and you're also he's giving up his minions on the board as well.
I don't like that attack.
On the Watcher.
Because
Yeah, I could've just
you
waited
don't
for
really
Doomhammer.
have to be scared of Shadow Flame, right? Because then he's just using a Shadow
Yeah.
Flame to clear those 3 anyways.
It kills 2 totems.
Exactly. I think he probably wanted to keep the Wolf and then just play the Doomhammer and destroy it next turn with that.
Well, WaningMoon has a way to kind of cut through that HP very soon next turn.
Yeah, this is the problem with this kind of Warlock.
These tech cards,
Like,
they're all situational.
he has so many cards in his hand, but he has nothing, because in this matchup you almost never get any damage.
You're
And
waiting the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. So at 30, the Shaman is just too hard to burst down. You kind of do need to win board control at some point. Oh, this is going to open up.
That opens up double Molten Giant possibilities.
It definitely does open up double
Not with the
Molten
taunt
Giants.
though.
Yeah, he can tap Giant for 6 mana, and then
Sun
Sun Fury if he has
If
it.
he draws into
But
it, yeah.
doesn't have it, so.
If you drop
this is weird.
Right. Because normally you would ideally like to start cutting your opponent down with Alexstrasza, but it is a little bit of a dangerous life situation.
There is actually a pretty good move here, but I don't expect anybody to do it. And this, I'm not joking, but I think the best move here is to Soulfire your own face, and then play your double giant
Molten
and taunt.
Giants.
And then you can still play another creature too.
Maybe Alexstrasza as well. That's crazy. Strifeco, that's too much. You're too much, dude. I can't handle that play. But you know what? Maybe. Maybe. Hey, I think, because then that does represent the follow-up lethal the next turn, because you have
just having one creature here, it's too vulnerable. Like, their finisher is going to be a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Doomhammer
even though you're getting yourself at 10, you get more taunters. Just having one taunter here with no Urshocks, no hexes used.
Shaman can answer it.
Exactly.
So then having the double Molten Giants, and then also, if you can't deal with them, then you also have the Alexstrasza the next turn, assuming you don't discard it, and then that's actually just the lethal right there. It's like a 2-turn kill. That's interesting. I don't know if I don't know if people can have the balls to do that play, Strifeco.
So what if you discard their Defender Warriors then?
But you have to consider that you're probably
That is true,
losing dead. I think this is an attack here.
Yeah. You saw a Molten
You already
Giant.
saw one
You already saw one
Molten
Molten Giant. The
so-
worst is another one. You have an Earthshock.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, because of that, that might give WaningMoon the ability to end the game soon.
Okay, so there's no more taunters. This is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. You might have to Shadow Flame.
He does have some moves. Let's say, like, say he wants a Siphon here to heal, then he can still play the Giant. I guess there's no good way for him to use his mana.
You don't think like he should clear the board with
Shadow Flame?
Shadow Flame in case he has like Flame Tongue or something to surprise him with damage?
It's definitely something to consider. So you can just play the Twilight Drake Giant and then Shadow Flame the Argus. That's good. And I forgot what Shaman has. Maybe it's lethal.
It's
maybe
a
not.
it's an Earth Shock, which actually plays directly against it, and a Doom Rock Biter.
Okay, so
for
he
the
can
Doom Hammer
do
combo.
10.
Yep. And he needs to pick up 2 more damage. Any kind of direct, two damage of any kind of direct to the face would be
any
okay.
damage wins him the game here.
Does he have a lightning bolt?
He has something like Lava Burst. He has something he can do. Maybe he can
Close,
pick up
close.
something
That's
here.
good. That's good. That's good. You can draw him something.
Maybe a Lava Burst?
Oh. I guess he draw.
Yeah.
But he can't draw with
Throwing
anything
the
anymore
Earthshock.
because he has no mana. But
Yeah.
it still's better. You gotta still play it.
Another
Troll.
Okay, so you can at least Earthshock and go for the face.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Alex here maybe heal up back to 15.
Or
Oh.
maybe if he Alex power
I think I
overwhelming.
think there might be a lethal
Oh,
here.
if he has
might be a
power
lethal here.
overwhelming,
Mhm.
I think that's game.
Oh,
Wait,
nope.
wait. Leroy.
12.
There's no-
20. Oh.
Oh my goodness. The
That's
Leroy
so close.
faceless. That's
He's off by
us.
4. He's off by
Yeah.
4.
That is tight.
Or he can Alex hit, and then it's still off by 3 that way.
That is true.
So he's gonna heal himself. Heal himself, Soulfire the creatures away. Yeah. Unfortunately, he couldn't have done anything else.
And then now it comes down to the Lava Burst.
Oh, discard the faceless.
But he already has
I
so
guess-
much threats
I
out.
guess he already has
Yeah.
the other burst as well.
Needs a
so-
Lava Burst or something.
Oh, that's the worst roll.
Oh, man. he can't draw for that either.
If WaningMoon hit with the other, like there's one turn where he attacked once with the weapon, but not the second time.
Right.
If he attacked twice, I think he would have had lethal. Because he could have hit him down to 10. But, maybe the giant would have been
But then he wouldn't have the
cheaper.
2 charges he has now, though.
Well, he'd have. No,
the
but
weapon.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. The game would have been over already.
Oh, you're saying the previous turn. I thought you meant the following
exactly,
turn. Okay.
exactly. This must be lethal or not? 16?
Yeah, he's got 16 plus the
Oh,
10.
there's not. I guess.
He's got,
very
he's too
close.
short. And I think at this point
If
he's
he had
playing the
faceless,
safe
he
way. Wow.
I guess he just wants to heal.
It just sets up the
reasonable.
guaranteed win.
Yeah.
Because if he left this up and he still drew something like Lava Burst, maybe he could have done something crazy.
Hex. Too little, too
It's
late
not
at this
enough.
point. Hex and
Flame Tongue.
I mean, he has to just go for board control here instead of burst. Warlock being 21 is too high to go for a burst now.
He has to spend his removal
Yeah.
to just clear it, but then he loses his ability to finish the game.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Well, his opponent also has a lethal in his hand. 10 extra damage coming in. Not that he know of.
And, at this point, we also know that the hand lock also has 10 damage in hand, so if he picks up Power Overwhelming, game's over. So as much as you spend your entire turn removing, you're always worried about that Leroy.
I mean, he can Flame Tongue, Rock Biter, do 5. Yeah, that doesn't. There's no good ways for him to do this. He's probably just gonna Rock Biter his own face and do something. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's hard to hit. I guess you can.
If he rock bars his own face and uses it to clear, then he guarantees loses next turn. But can you blame him? WaningMoon doesn't really have any other answers.
Okay, so he is just not gonna hit with his face, or shock, and then hex the other one. Unfortunately, this way you don't get to clear the 3/3. So.
Nope.
And that's going to be game, as XiaoSoul has 10 damage in hand, and that alone. He might not show the Arcane Golem, because that might be a surprise factor.
There's still another match after this.
Right.
So you don't want to show Arcane Golem if you don't have to.
Yeah.
Although if it gets you lethal, you're going
Might as
to
well
show
tap
it.
for it then. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Well, now there's 2 things to consider, and it's interesting because they've sat there for so long. But you know what? It ends up being the reason he wins. So put it there.
It's cool.
All right, so the series is tied 1-1, and now Moon will have to rely on his Druid deck. And Druid versus Warlock is, people said for a long time the handlock had the advantage, but people have kind of been shifting more and more towards, well, it depends on how Druid starts.
Yeah.
If they get that early BGH or the Silence for the Twilight Drake and then continue to snowball, even with things like Wild Growth Innervate, things can get out of control and handlock can't do anything. Any opinions or follow-up on that?
Yeah, basically, as Druids are getting more, they're using more BGHs now. Black Knight, 2 keepers.
More
so-
fairy dragons, apparently. Wow.
But I mean, another big thing is the hand locks of the old age are actually a little bit different than the new age hand locks. The new age hand locks being more bursty are worse against Druid and Shaman. So these are the matchups where you're sacrificing some of your matchups with heavy burst.
Double Twilight Drake.
Oh, wow.
So he can coin out.
Yeah. But also in ladder, it's a little bit different because one of the hand lock strengths is they're always not sure whether you're Zoo or hand lock.
Sure.
These pairs
Now I
all
can
know
mulligan perfectly
100% sure. So you're never going to mulligan Keeper and BGH now when you know you're fighting against.
And that was
hand
part
lock.
of your advantage being able to go into previous series.
Exactly.
All right, pretty aggressive cards. He already has the combo, so if he picks up something like Innervate as well along the way while adding damage, maybe pretty good. I have to imagine you drop a Twilight Drake here.
It's going to be 2 Drakes, one after another.
This
It's really
one will be
important.
solid.
It's really important to drop the Drakes as early as possible. Once you wait till turn 6, they can Keeper and Hero Power, Keeper and Wrath. If you do drop on turn 4 and it gets silenced, it still trades off from one of the creatures, so it's not the worst. Oh, that's pretty greedy.
Ooh.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
It's it though. It's
I
a
don't know.
fairy dragon. You can't quite kill it easily. Oh,
But you know, you kill a Keeper. I don't know what's better. What's better, Fairy Dragon or Keeper? Who knows?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky just because you can't use your spells like Mortal Coil for some reason if something got low, but it's not really applicable, I think. So I think killing the Keeper for more health. And he has the combo, so he's just pushing aggressively because he wants to lower him. That's the whole
The really
objective.
interesting thing here is whether you actually want to push in this much damage early. Because if you actually do push in this
Molten
damage early,
Giants.
on turn 9, you know, when you do want to combo, you're likely to be already in Molten Giant range and the taunters.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. It's kind of weird both ways. Not pushing a damage is kind of weird, too, so.
It is, because then if they float too high, as much as you have combo, how can you finish it without some board-established dominance early? And that's a really tricky line to
Yeah,
tread.
exactly.
I don't know if I like the move he just made.
The
instead
Defender
of
of
It
Archangel
really
Soul
opens
Master.
himself to Black Knight.
It also is
I
the
don't-
same health as much. Like if you just play the Shenzhen Shield Master to 5 health,
Sure.
taunt.
And you're giving up your activators for one of
Oh,
your
yeah,
giants.
yeah. And Argus is much better late game because you can combo with your
mana,
giants.
Yeah,
and,
precisely.
you know,
The activations are key.
You also have a
Ancient-
chance of doing 2 targets. He only got 1 target.
He also has
So-
an Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I didn't. That seems
Maybe,
really weird.
maybe he doesn't. Wait. Maybe he didn't want to open himself up to a swipe or something.
Swipe.
Because then if you play the Shenzhen, then it's a swipe hero power and it's board clear.
This is kind of weird, though.
But that's the same thing right now, though. Right?
That is also true. But then I guess he values the Shenzhen higher than he does the. I guess maybe he values it higher unless he gets the
Okay, so
Molten
he's going to
Giants.
force clear. He has 2 force right now, so he can just force clear. Well, I guess it's interesting to see
I'll just hit face with 3-2.
if he's going to hit the face at the 3-2. Force going to go for the Twilight Drake.
It would be more consistent with his decisions.
Yeah,
And
I
the
mean,
fact that he
he's-
didn't use the 3 attack to clear
But
instead
this
of...
can get you really scary into Molten range because now you're in Molten range while you don't have board control. Like,
Yeah.
at least, you know, sometimes you go in Molten range and you have board control, maybe it's okay. If he just trades and now he's in Molten range, oh.
Second.
I think this is some weird, I don't like it. I don't like the super aggressive style with the force combo because turn 9, you know, it's too late with the Molten's out already, and also by leaving that up, you get Argus like this. I don't know, it's just gross.
Yeah.
I think he should Wrath first to draw.
Right. Maybe he draws into
Oh,
something.
he's not playing a Wrath.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
He has the HP to spare.
Yeah, sure.
And let's see what XiaoSoul's able to pick up. He's still looking for something like his Molten Giants, which would be really nice, but he also gave away some of his taunters.
Yeah. One of the most frustrating things playing Handlock is when someone totally doesn't respect your Molten Giants,
Yeah.
and then you don't have it.
Exactly. it's like Hunters and Unleash the
Yeah,
Hounds for a long time. It's
exactly.
like, how can you get away with doing this
Yeah.
if I have Unleash?
So it actually kind of works out okay, just because there's
Right.
no...
The lack of respect. Yeah, well, the Shenzhen does come out. He picks up his Leroy, so he does have the power overwhelming. If he picks up Faceless,
Okay.
able to add closer to the combo range.
So it's one mana away from the combo, but too many taunters at this point so far.
He could use Wrath and his swipe to do stuff, but also I feel like you want to push out a minion though
Argent Commander, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wrath, Argent Commander, or if he's consistent with his spell last turn, maybe he's just gonna save the Wrath. I think at this point that you have too many spells, like the Wrath, Swipe, and the combo, you might want to cycle the Wrath.
Sure,
Maybe get an Ancient
sure.
Law or something. So
Yeah. I definitely see that. Then if you use a Rat, then you just drop the Argent Commander follow-up. I think it's fine. It accomplishes the same thing the Swipe does anyways, and it leaves you a minion so that you have improved combo potential next turn.
yeah.
What's also super nasty is that the Harvest Golem also presents quite a big problem because
It does with
the
the
damage
combo,
Golem
yeah.
is. I mean, the Harvest Golem
Yeah,
and Force
yeah.
of Nature, Savage Roar is just the
Harvest
unholy
Golems are
trio.
so sticky.
Yeah.
And, Force of Nature Savage Roar is already so strong on its own, 9 mana, 14 damage. And it gets stronger and stronger the more creatures you have on the board, so,
Amplifies
yeah.
double fold.
Okay. Oh,
Swipe?
interesting. This is actually weird. I don't.
Okay. Then
I can't see the reasoning for a
swipe and then
over the-
Yeti. Trade? Really? Okay. It
Because
sets up a really
Swipe
powerful
can go
combo.
for the face,
Mhm.
And also you're losing half your golem. So the other move, you have 4/2 and a whole golem, and your hand is better because I think you'd rather keep the swipe in your hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems weird.
And it does exactly that. It also opens up Mortal Coil.
No.
Kind of a funny moment where you realize, as much as it's cool to like activate the Watcher to lose its buff so it doesn't kill the Yeti. Also, every taunt really matters. So as much as you want to put down the Mountain Giant.
What happened there? Did he have enough mana to cast the Mountain Giant?
What? Yeah, he did. But the thing is, he realized that if he had combo at that point he loses.
Oh,
The
he
Yeti
would
kills
die.
off. Yeah, he was at 13 health or 12
so
health.
That's definitely right. That's
So
definitely right.
he needed to survive.
I see. That's too scary at this point.
Oh,
Shadow Flame. Oh, he can clear.
Shadow Flame with Mountain Giant.
It's interesting because you can Shadow Flame the Watcher and Soulfire. Oh, but then you don't have a taunt. That's actually maybe even scarier.
That is true.
Oh, maybe BGH Power Overwhelming. BGH Power Overwhelming Shadow Flame could have done similar, but I think this is probably better though.
It's
maybe?
safer.
Wow.
Because the thing is, if you give up the power of overwhelming, you lose the potential way to draw into lethal with
Well,
the
also because
faceless.
he has Leroy. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what WaningMoon picks off with his Wrath. He's been playing a little quicker, so he's be very cautious with how he does stuff. I would
think
wild
he's
growth
gonna
there.
wild
Yeah.
growth. He probably doesn't even want to hit him to 14 anyways. Actually, it does. It's the combo of 14.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
But if you have a minion out there anyways,
Yeah, but the minions could die to anything,
Soulfire.
Yeah. So yeah, hitting him to 14 is definitely right. Instead of wild growthing.
Yeah. Again, just keep threatening. Even if you don't have combo, you represent it, and then your opponent has to kind of respond to it. Whoa.
That's a lot of burst. I guess without the faceless, it's not that much.
Yeah.
With faceless, that's 28 damage
28.
potentially if you.
Oh man.
More burst.
Yeah.
That is wait. So right now he has
Soulfire.
Soulfires and Leroy and Power Overwhelming.
He's gonna
So
Soulfire the 4/2.
22 damage worth, but he has to
Yeah.
use it.
Nope.
Wow. That's pretty good discard.
Because the big game is useless. in this
Yeah,
matchup.
there's nothing really what you're going to do.
Forward to
the
charge.
si-
That's why
Definitely
these
better than
cards
this
are
board,
they're all too situational
Yeah.
against Druid.
The silence could be useful against the a taunt,
Aw.
but it doesn't really need it. Now that heal from the Farseer was super clutch.
There's no way he can combo this turn because he knows there's Alex Strauss in this deck, so he can't
Yeah.
combo Ben to one.
I don't know if that actually
instead
changes.
of Roar is weird. Oh, he's really scared of dying, maybe?
Yeah, potentially to Leroy, but then it forces him to have a Soulfire. In fact, if he picks up Faceless, I think
There might
that's
still be
lethal.
Is it? Let's see, a 2024. Oh, it is lethal.
Yeah, that's a scary
That
moment
is
when you
lethal.
realize you can
Yeah.
die from 27.
Okay, so there's a. Oh, but you can't giant.
No, you can't giant. You have to heal. You have to kill. And again, repeat
Oh,
the
man.
process.
Yeah.
If you Soulfire, you give up your way. So then again, potentially have lethal if your opponent doesn't hero power it.
These turns are like both of them have so much burst.
It's
in their
tightrope,
hands.
man.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. And now the window is still open. If
Yeah,
you picked
it's
up
still
Faceless,
open.
it's game over.
But on the other hand, the Druid's board is so strong now. If you don't pick
Right.
up Faceless, you're probably dead.
Oh my God!
God.
That
He
is
has it.
20. That's lethal.
That is
That
ridiculous.
is 27.
Oh man. Is that
XiaoSoul, you
lethal?
got it.
20,
You
24,
got
27.
it.
That's
He's
lethal.
got it. And he sees it. Oh my goodness.
That's some Nimsh luck.
Wow. He had a good fat amount of cards left in his deck too. That was the one outer runner.
Because he was dead next turn to the combo too.
And XiaoSoul advances in second place off of back-to-back wins with his hand lock. In explosive fashion, a devastating loss for WaningMoon. You know, he was in control for so many turns back-to-back. He was like being able to represent lethal.
Close.
That was so
And because he
close.
didn't hero power and respect its potential 27.
Another thing that's interesting is he was in Molten Giant range almost the whole game. There was
Right,
never a
no Molten Giant. So in a way, you could say that XiaoSoul wasn't lucky in
Yeah,
that respect.
exactly.
So it wasn't like he top deck and should have
There's
lost
so
by
many
any means.
turns where, say, like for like 5 turns, you're in Molten Giant range. You just drop it in 1 turn. That's an 8/8 for like 5 turns. You know, it's just so big too.
Yeah. So XiaoSoul, the player you said that was very strong compared to the first player, he ends up advancing. So, you know, good luck to that. But Strifeko, I really enjoyed having you on the couch again. Maybe you'll stay or come back for another series. But Masant, do you have any last words on that? What we just watched before we head into a quick commercial break?
Oh, well, I mean, you just said everything, right? And I respect that.
Yeah, I think so. I think XiaoSoul showed that, you know, as much as there were some decisions maybe you wouldn't agree with, like the Argus, maybe spending some of his cards and resources in different manners. I think in the end he understands his win conditions for his deck, and was able to play around some really important moments and stay alive
Yeah,
throughout
it's
the
really
process.
important you stay above 14. 14 to 15 is so different against Druid.
He just kept going back between 14
exactly.
and 15
It's
too.
just like he went to 12 and then healed to 15,
And then-
tapped
and
to
then go
12,
back to
healed
12, heal back to 15.
Siphon Soul back to 15. That's pretty cool.
I think there was a really good match too at the Millennium Cup with Gara and Nimsh, where it was like really tough, where Gara had to Siphon Soul a 1/1 Argent Squire.
Just
That was
to
the
go
only
to
thing on the
15.
board, right? And that was, it wasn't above 15, but it was the fact that if he had combo, he would have died to because the Argent
a
Squire gave us
creature.
17 damage.
Okay,
So it was like really tough decisions
yeah.
where like it's mid game and you're like, well, I really don't want to spend this card, but you have to. So it's really interesting to see this dynamic and the fact that these players are able to make high-level decisions like that.
Yeah, and also with Alex, it's really hard to just take them down to 1 and swipe
Right.
next turn. If you just lose Alex, if you force them down to 1.
Yeah, you spend all of your cards, and in the end, he's able to bounce right back.
Yeah.
So I think a really fun series overall. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Group A is done. When we come back, we're going to have Group B featuring players like RDU, Tyson from Japan, and Jackie Chan from Hong Kong. We'll tell you more right after it. Make sure to hashtag IEM and keep in the conversation, guys, on Twitter. And why don't you do that while we take a quick break and come back with more action from IEM Shenzhen.